How did two obvious professionals pass right through security personnel, kill 41 soldiers, and get away? Where the hell was that? Everything's under control except one detail. A daughter who wants her father and company dead and gone. Bad Shakespeare. Somehow the company parasites got to her. Look, she's your daughter, and that's tragic. But blood or not, she goes. Call it the price of doing business.
Pero aquí, familia.
Come around my house during the holidays, pal.
It's the Esoteric Roberts, Eric Roberts podcast, and we're talking about the Expendables from 2010. Me and my indispensable friend, Roy. Good afternoon.
Hello.
How is everything?
It's good. I have some old business. I forgot last time on the Inherent Vice episode to talk about one time I met Paul Thomas Anderson and Maya Rudolph, and it kind of reminded me of like how people describe Bill and Hillary Clinton, where he was immediately kind of a warm, likable, charismatic guy, and she's just like the biggest bitch I ever met in my life. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You did compare her to a Star Wars character.
Oh, yeah. And I love Star Wars. So. Oh, I watched Why Do Fools Fall in Love, the Frankie Lyman story. And it had Miguel Nunez Jr. from Christmas in Compton as young Little Richard.
Whoa. Who was he in Christmas in Compton?
He was delicious.
Oh, yeah. Your buddy. Nice. It's nice to see that guy. That's a big role for him.
Yeah. I mean, they had the real Little Richard in it, too, as like in modern times. So he kind of got, outshone by it's hard to steal a movie from the real Little Richard. The guy's so huge.
Whoa. So is he kind of playing like reenactments? Is it that kind of?
The movie takes place on separate timelines. It's like three women played by Regina King, Halle Berry, and gosh, who is the other one? Somebody big. It'll come to me. I'm sorry, I'm leaving her name out. She's another famous actress. They played different wives of Frankie Lyman, who he was maybe a bigamist, and they are all like fighting in court for rights to his songs. And then it goes back, and Lorenz Tate plays Frankie Lyman, and it's like a 2-timeline movie. So at some point when he's on tour, he tours with Little Richard, and then Little Richard comes in as a witness in the court case that takes up part of the movie. It was okay.
Was it better than the Expendables?
Yes. I liked it more.
You know what they should have called the Expendables? Stallosians 11.
Ooh, Stallosians 5.
I get the feeling Stallone Sylvester Stallone directed this film.
And co-wrote it based on they say story by David Callahan. Did the movie need a story credit though? I felt like it should say story by the movies.
Yeah, story by some late night bull sessions with the crew, with the cast.
He was just watching any movie. Yeah. It basically has the same plot as Rambo 4. I watched all 5. Did you know there was a 5th Rambo movie, by the way?
I do.
Came out almost exactly 2 years ago. I guess I did not.
So which one's the cartel one? 4 or 5?
5.
Okay. I don't even know what 4 is about.
4, they go into a jungle and he actually like kind of hangs with a team of mercenary guys.
Yeah.
That he meets up with. That was a superior movie to this. I don't know. This one versus Rambo 5, I'm not sure what I would say was better, but Sylvester Stallone directed Rambo 4, which is only one of the Rambo movies he directed, and I thought it was better than this. I also watched Escape Plan starring Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I thought that was a vastly superior movie as well.
Whoa, interesting.
I liked that more than Rambo 4, probably more than Rambo 3 or 2 as well.
How about
I enjoyed First Blood a lot.
Yeah, the OG one, right?
Yeah, in fact, the only problem I would have with First Blood is that I already knew of sequels, so like it took away, you could actually have suspense in First Blood of whether or not Rambo will die.
Mm-hmm. True. Did you feel any suspense in the Expendables over whether or not any of the main guys would die?
Well, maybe Lundgren. Then I realized. Then at some point he comes back. At the spoiler, he does not die. I think, the biggest surprise in the movie was that they let Jet Li lose a couple of fights.
Yeah. Well, I'm not familiar with
movies
the
where
franchise.
nobody misses a shot. Yeah, I'm not either. This is the only one I did not watch any other Expendable movies in research for this, or read anything about the production of Expendables or anything.
There's an Expendables trilogy.
Then they just announced that Part 4 will be made, adding 50 Cent to the cast.
Whoa. Well, I'm looking at the poster right now. Let's run through the cast real quick. The poster on it has Stallone, Statham, Lee, Lundgren, Couture, Austin, Cruise, Rourke, Willis. No Roberts.
No Roberts, no Schwarzenegger.
But no Schwarzenegger, but Eric Roberts plays the villain of the film.
Yes, he has a sizable role, bigger than Steve Austin, I'd say. Maybe bigger than Randy Couture.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to squeeze in all the big action guys, but
yeah, and Roberts isn't as big of an action guy, but you think like they have General Garza, who is character actor David Zayas. I couldn't find if he was related to Dr. Zayas, but
David Zayas. Yeah.
I hate every ape I see.
Man, 2010. This was not on my.
If you're not going to put him on the poster, this movie only exists to have a poster and a trailer.
Yeah, so this was in his kind of big 2000s, early 2010s period when he was in Dark Knight. This, and then somewhere around there would be Inherent Vice, 2014, a few years later. But yeah,
this is really closer to Christmas in Compton era.
True. Yeah, he's never really on the ascent or never really on top because he's always in everything.
Yeah,
and just
like
occasionally,
you're like a busy year for him last time. I was like, ooh, isn't every year a busy year for Roberts?
Yeah, I failed to look up his 2010 list of credits, but I'm sure he was busy. But yeah, he's in it, and he should have been on the poster, I think. But maybe he's on another poster that we didn't see.
Maybe there was a debate about it, and they were like, wow, we've got so many people on this. I don't know.
So I'm trying to think of this period of time was the big, like, do you remember Spike TV?
I think I was living in a place where I had cable when this movie came out, and this is like maybe the last year or something I had cable.
Yeah, this is
2010 or no, maybe I had cable up to like 2012 or something in a place I lived for a few years.
This is like such a hilariously, this movie tries so hard to be the ultimate badass film, and this is kind of from the last gasp of like that kind of, I mean, the macho thing is never going to go away. But it was like
last gasp of getting something like this to the theater, other than something with the Expendables. I mean, this is the action film is more or less become a direct-to-video genre.
Yeah, and it just makes me think of like this like hilariously cartoonish macho culture.
I watched 2.5 episodes of the Rambo and the Freedom Force cartoon.
Oh, the one from the 80s?
Yeah,
I was a big fan of that.
I liked it too. They had good action figures. They had one of the villains of the action figures had like a glass case aquarium of snakes that you could take out.
I kind of remember that.
That was a pretty cool toy because you could put it with your other action figures too. Like have a snake guy.
Yeah, I had one of those Rambo cartoon action figures, and it was so cherished by me. And I had buried it or had done something. I had it out somewhere outdoors and lost it, and it was like devastating.
Yeah, I had the Indiana Jones action figure, and I had the Commando action figure.
Wow, I didn't know they had a Commando one.
Yeah, Commando, like the Rambo one, was an odd size. The Indiana Jones, it was a weird action figure, but you could at least throw it in with your G.I. Joes and Star Warses, which were exactly the same size, that they bent differently, so you could fit them in all each other's vehicles and play sets. The Rambo figures were bigger, and the Commando ones were in the middle.
You remember that movie, The Boy Who Could Fly?
I remember the title. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Well, there wasn't an action figure for it, but
damn.
I forget. We were actually talking about this actor. He was in something in one of
by
the
action
first,
figures. I mean dolls.
In one of the earlier EsotEric episodes, we had mentioned this actor who his name escapes me yet again, but he played the boy who could fly. And Fred Savage is in that film, and his character is obsessed with army stuff and GI Joes. And there's a whole like part where he throughout the whole movie he buries his dead GI Joes because they've lost their father, and so it's like his weird quirk that he has. And then there's this scene where he like wakes up in the middle of the night and is like insanely like trying to dig up these dead GI Joes.
That's not the one with Burt Lancaster, is it?
No, I can't remember who else is in it. Some people, Fred Savage and that guy from Uncle Buck who played the dick boyfriend is the boy who could fly. Jay Underwood. Does that sound right?
But it sounds like someone.
But yeah, I just remember seeing the digging up the action figure scene. Really, I remember crying watching The Boy Who Could Fly because it made me think of my Rambo action figure that I lost. Yes, the guy's name is Jay Underwood, by the way. I'm looking him up. So let's dive into the plot of this because
Blair
it's a
Underwood's
real
father.
This is a real masterclass in plot construction for all you listeners. The first thing that we see in this film is pretty funny. Is some motorcycles in the night, and we get a little bit of poetry, which I believe it's Stallone's voice, but it's pretty grisly and weird sounding. And it's him saying, "We are the shadows and the smoke. We rise." We are the ghosts that hide in the night. And when I was watching it, I was thinking, shit, is this Vincent Price in Thriller? Pretty spooky, actually. It kind of makes you think that you're about to watch a scary movie about ghost bikers. So yeah, you see that little Expendables logo on the side of the motorcycle. And then we're in the Gulf of Aden, which is somewhere by Somalia, I reckon. And we have some kind of a hostage situation in effect on this boat with some, would you believe it, Somalian pirates. They were all the rage in the early 2010s. Those Somali pirates were causing a lot of trouble, I remember. A small raft pulls up and the pirates are on the bigger boat. The pirates are moving the hostages down somewhere and the lower on the boat. And so these elite mercenaries, the Expendables, I would guess, they show up on this boat and
they're supposed to make the money exchange. The hostages are being held for cash, not
and they've had
favors.
them for a long time.
And the Expendables have brought cash. These mercenaries have brought cash.
Yeah, so we see the leader of the pirates talking, and then all of a sudden, all of these lasers show up on him. Remember the lasers? What are they called? The laser sights. And then all hell breaks loose. Who do you think comes out on top but the Expendables?
Well, first, they have some negotiation. I was thinking like Stallone and Statham, all these guys, they whisper all their lines to the pirates across this huge pirate ship. And I was like, how do the pirates even fucking hear them?
Well, how do you even fucking hear the whole movie? I had a problem with this. Did you have a problem understanding like half of the dialogue in the film?
Yeah, I guess when you get Stallone, Lundgren, and Schwarzenegger and Jet Li in the same movie,
man,
it's gonna be rough.
Yeah, I needed the subtitles.
Then
really
they go
bad.
to a Latin American island later.
Well, and Statham
Central
as well.
America.
It's kind of hard to understand.
Oh, you're right. There were a lot of things that were hard to understand in the movie, and we'll get to a couple more.
So yeah, there's some negotiating, but I didn't get a lot of the dialogue in this. I was just kind of trying to follow it intuitively.
This is one of those movies where the heroes never miss with a shot, so of course none of them get hurt, but all the pirates get killed. Then, except for one pirate is being hung by their sniper lookout is Lundgren.
Yeah, the sniper is Gunnar Jensen,
who's addicted to meth in the movie.
Oh, is that the drug? I didn't catch.
They call him meth head or something a couple of times.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's methamphetamines that he's on. He's a meth head, and he looks drugged out.
I'm imagining Stallone saying it. You method.
Yeah. It's just this method actor.
He's a method actor? Yeah. Well, I'm going to run through the names of our guys, the characters' names. So Stallone's character's name is Barney Ross, and then Jason Statham is Lee Christmas.
Yeah, and there are lots of lines where people mention, like sometimes they're talking about him, and then sometimes they just talk about Christmas and the holidays at other times. Like it's sometimes
there's a Christmas joke I remember.
Well, there's one joke about his name, which I think is the first time you find out his name is Christmas, and then later on it's just people just bring up Christmas, and I was like, was this another joke about his name? I was like, no, they're just talking about Christmas now.
It's very confusing. I agree with you. Jet Li plays Yin Yang.
Yeah,
pretty crazy.
Gosh.
Did you know Jet Li was always that small?
Sure.
I just never really thought about his size. It seems.
I watched two fun movies of Jet Li. I watched Once Upon a Time in China and Once Upon a Time in China 2.
Nice. What years are those from?
91 and 92 maybe, or something like that.
Whoa, prime jet.
Yeah, they were definitely prime jet and had really nice production value.
He doesn't look short in those, I bet.
I mean, I guess not relative to other people in them.
That's what I was getting at.
No, my bad.
So Terry Crews plays weapons specialist Hale Caesar, Hale. I never caught his name in the film.
He's probably the one who gets the least to do.
They straight up should have just called his character Terry Crews.
Yeah. Randy, black guy, basically.
Randy Couture plays Toll Road.
Just like a G.I. Joe character name.
Yeah.
I thought Randy Couture was pretty good in the movie and what little he had to do. I was kind of impressed with his acting.
He was okay. Yeah. He didn't bother me.
In fact, I think Statham out of them really stole the movie to me. Like I think he was the best of the bunch. But
agreed.
Couture,
well, I've never really gotten into Statham or his other franchises.
I've seen a couple over time.
He's had some franchises when you think about it. There was a few Crank movies, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't see those.
And then a few Transporter films.
51 Formula movies.
Okay, let's get back to the scene here. So yeah,
Do you remember when Sylvester Stallone sued the studio for not greenlighting Rocky 6 and 1? And his whole case was they know it'll make money. And,
I have
it did. And it
What
did.
year was that?
I forget. Sometime between in the years after Rocky 5 and the long
gonna
layoff
say-
between Rocky 5 and Rocky 6.
Oh, I was going to say,
Like
did
he
it
was
take
like-
place between Rocky 1 and Rocky 2?
No.
He's projecting that far.
Yeah, it was like after Rocky 5, I guess they had no taste for making another Rocky movie, but he was like, come on, you know it'll make money. And he won.
gonna sue you.
And it did. He was right.
That's great. I love it. Back to Lundgren being in the meth head character Gunner. He's the one that kind of kicks off this firefight here.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that.
And yeah, they come out, the Expendables come out on top. And then, like you said, he's trying to hang one of the dead pirates. And he says something like, I'm a Viking. This is what we do.
Oh, yeah.
And Stallone doesn't like it, doesn't want him to do it, tells him to stop. He's not
Jet Li's
listening.
against it as well.
Yeah. So Jet Li runs up there and they get into a brawl.
Oh, this is also like where we get the first, before when they kill the guys, we get the running thing about who's faster, Stallone with a gun or Statham with a knife.
Mm-hmm. And it's never really made clear in this scene.
Confusing.
Stallone says something like, I don't even see a knife.
Yeah.
When all the smoke or all the dust settles, the smoke clears. So Gunner pulls a knife on Jet Li, and Stallone has to intervene. And then when they're flying back after the mission, Lundgren's character is, I think he's tied up, right? Or he's
Yeah, they've got him tied inside to some to the periscope or some pole in the ship when they're flying back or in their plane. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's Couture who tries to give him his big ass knife back, and he doesn't want it. Which
Yeah,
is
so
strange.
like this is. We also see Dolph Lundgren beat up Jet Li here, and Stallone comes and rescues Jet Li.
How about that crazy scar on Lundgren's face? That's not real, right?
I don't know.
You ever meet Lundgren in your
Yeah, I
goes?
did. He
He's,
was nice, but
aged
also
pretty
seems
well.
like all these guys have honestly aged pretty well. Like that's one other thing about this movie is that they all look pretty good and are in good shape. But yeah, Lundgren looks like a guy who might be enjoying his methamphetamines and exercise. He has a crazy sense of style where he's wearing like some rhinestone and design covered crazy jacket and pants that matched and stuff, and was with some like crazy, I don't want to say bimbo, but crazy looking lady that basically looks appropriate for Dolph Lundgren.
Lundgren's Swedish, right?
Yes, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I have no idea.
I know he's Scandinavian. Yeah, he's Swedish. He's definitely not Russian,
No.
but he is most famously known for playing a Russian guy, Ivan Spago or whatever, Drago Spago.
Spago.
My favorite restaurant. Yeah, so Stallone flies the plane. He can do everything in this movie. Just
Oh
about.
yeah, he pilots plane a couple times in this movie.
And in this flying home section here, I forget
We get Charlie Daniels Band. This is our first white trash classic rock song of the movie. We
Mississippi
get
Queen?
several. No. This is where they hear "Don't feed me no lies and keep your hands to yourself."
Okay, yeah. The Delta Satellites.
Yeah, which is good. Oh, I thought that was Charlie
The
Daniels.
Georgia
My bad.
Satellites?
My bad. I thought that was a Charlie Daniels Band song. My mistake. This movie should come with a warning to start huffing your glue right at the beginning.
Yeah, get the Axe body spray out, turn off Spike TV.
Get your paint thinner, kids.
We get a little glimpse of all the characters doing stuff on the plane that's kind of funny. Like Couture's reading a book called what? Something about survivors.
Yeah, he's into therapy. We find out. Yeah, you're right. That's his thing.
Yeah, he's not listening to an audiobook with earbuds because they wouldn't fit in his ears. sadly.
Yeah, which is also his thing.
Yeah, and there's a scene. Yeah, there's a scene about his cauliflower ears that we'll get to. Terry Crews has some pictures of his kids that he's looking at. That's kind of strange the way that comes out. And I think the next scene that we get to is back in America. Lee Christmas, no relation to Lloyd Christmas.
Oh yeah.
He rolls up to a girlfriend's house that he hasn't seen in a month, and he's trying to surprise her, and she's kind of nervous that he's there, and he has a bottle of champagne and a nice ring that I think he got in Burma.
Yeah, like a ruby ring. Yeah.
And it's revealed that there's a gentleman caller in the house.
And this scene was crazy because his girlfriend is played by Charisma Carpenter as Lacey, but she's shrouded in such shadow in this scene that I thought it was the actress Jamie Lynn Sinclair. And when they brought her back, Lacey comes back in a future scene, and I only recognized that it was supposed to be the same character because of the storm storm door was so recognizable of that house.
Mm.
And so good acting by the storm door.
Yeah, nice work. It's an expendable storm door.
Yeah, shadows play a huge part of this movie.
It's a dark film.
I think that, you know, shadows, anytime there's a hand-to-hand combat scene, it's like so shrouded in shadow. You're like, oh, do they do this so they didn't have to take time to actually do it?
Well,
because
shadows,
the actors can't do it.
As was said once before, shadows can be your cheapest prop.
In a movie I liked more called Rebels of PT 219 or something.
Yeah. So Lee just leaves. She's not really his serious lady. She's just somebody that he hooks up with.
He's hurt though.
Yeah, he's hurt. He wants to.
And he calls her new boyfriend an asshole. He's like, he's no good. Trust me.
She doesn't know. She brings up that she doesn't even know what he does for a job. So that's a thing.
When you're here, you're not here.
Yeah. How'd you like that? Somewhere in here is where we meet Eric Roberts.
Oh yeah, we go to Valena.
We go to the island nation of Valena. Do you remember this scene?
No.
There's a General
Garza.
And he has some hostages. Or not hostages. He has some. I think they're traitors. He's got them on their knees and they're tied up. And he's
with everybody being recognizable. General Garza is like a sizable. I'm surprised they didn't get any like weird character actor we know. Like, not that David Zayas is a bad actor and hasn't been working. He's been in tons of stuff over the years. Tons of stuff you've seen. But yeah, he's just not. He's not Expendables level of a name. Yeah, you think that Joaquin de Almeida, to
George Lopez,
all the people you would expect in this role turn it down.
I think George Lopez should have done it. I wonder if Trejo shows up in any of the sequels.
Oh, good point. Trejo maybe in this. Yeah. But they probably didn't want him as the bad guy. Who knows? Maybe they offered it to him. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if he would have worked as General Garza. But we meet him here, and yeah, he's got some guys. It looks like some traitors or something like that. Before he can even shoot them himself or do anything to them, Eric Roberts
pops out from the shadows and blows the guy. The guy he's talking, he has the gun. General Garza has a gun on a guy, and then the guy gets shot by an off-screen character. It's Eric Roberts.
Yeah, and he's clean cut. He's got his hair slicked back. He's wearing a suit.
He's looking all greasy.
Looking like a gentleman of the straight world persuasion.
Yeah.
I can't remember his character's name.
I can't either. It was James Monroe.
Like my favorite president.
Yeah.
Eric Roberts is
but
James
with a U in Monroe.
Oh, nice.
Bit of an O.
So we get introduced to our big villain there, but we're not quite sure how it's going to tie in just yet. The next place we journey to is Tool's Bar, kind of a bar / tattoo parlor.
Yes, I guess so.
Garage.
So, yeah,
it's like the ultimate guy hangout place
/ Ed Hardy.
Yeah, it's the Ed Hardy
actor.
Bro hangout joint. Yeah, garage door opens and the motorcycle comes in with Mickey Rourke on it as Tool, and it's revealed that Stallone is the bartender, or he's just in there. Kind of confusing. He's at the bar.
Yeah, it looks maybe the Expendables have the run of the place when they want it.
Yeah, there's a pool table in there and some other fun stuff, and
definitely a dartboard.
Yes, definitely.
Or
a dartboard.
I guess Dia de los Muertos, Ed Hardy skull dartboard thing.
Yeah, it's basically where it's Spike TV's headquarters is basically where they shot it. And then there's a gal with Mickey Rourke.
Oh, and her name's like Cherokee or something.
Yeah, and he starts to just list off names of Indian tribes.
Arapaho, Kawa, Chiricahua, Chickasha, Arapaho.
I'm gathering that Tool used to be a guy that used to run with the Expendables.
Yes, he was an expendable that now gets the missions. Now he's like their contractor.
Yeah, he's he's the retired guy, and he talks about the old days a lot.
He probably gives the best performance in the film, in my opinion.
He's got some pretty wild lines that are maybe the most memorable.
Whose characters do you think shower less, Mickey Rourke's or Giovanni Ribisi's?
Rourke looks more unshowered than Ribisi.
Just in general in the movies. I don't know. Yeah, and this one, like Mickey Rourke's hair looks like it's so damned greasy and dirty. It's making its own dreads.
It's pretty gnarly. I watched a documentary about the Elliott Smith, the singer-songwriter. And he had some insanely greasy hair. I couldn't stop looking at that during the documentary.
Yeesh.
But it was like, you know, it was hair that was naturally, he probably never washed it or something. I don't know what he was going for, but it was extra greasy. But yeah, Rourke's hair is pretty gnarly in this. And so let's see here so it's been 11 years since this movie.
Oh, I thought this is the movie started.
Yeah. I'm thinking of Night Walk.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm trying to think of the evolution of Mickey Rourke's appearance between then and now. It's definitely gotten even crazier.
Yes. It looks like he's just progressed on doubling down on looking crazy every year.
But just like in Night Walk, he loves to just wear like vests or open shirts that just show off his physique. And he's definitely rocking that in this, showing off his tatted up torso in his low rise pants. Forget what he says in Night Walk, where he's like, I like my guys hard and I like them tough.
This is clean.
He says something like that in this, where he's like, goes up to Stallone and he's like, you look like cold steel right now or something. He like punches him in the shoulder. Pretty wild. I wonder how much of Rourke, I wonder how much he improvised in this.
I thought the same thing. I was like, Mickey Rourke has to be improvising these lines at some point.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like anybody but Mickey Rourke would come up with them.
Yeah, especially this monologue that he has a little bit later in the movie. It just feels like, damn, that might be pure Rourke. I just don't know. I would have to see the script, but do I really want to look at the script for the Expendables? So does he bring
Rambo
up
5 crossed out on the top?
does he mention the Valena mission at all in this scene? I don't remember.
Maybe it's when they bring everybody back together in a couple scenes. I'm not sure. Maybe not. I can't remember. Yeah, I think we do get, maybe Lee Christmas shows up here and we get our first, where we find out his name is Lee Christmas because Mickey Rourke makes the Christmas joke.
Yeah.
And like, I think it's Christmas time. And then Christmas shows up and is mad about that girl, and Stallone's giving him like relation advice. So maybe this is where they get the mission initially or something, or where they get
tip.
Yeah. And we also find out that Mickey Rourke is the tattoo artist and he recommends a crazy, that might be later.
He recommends the Charlotte's Web tattoo
for Jason Statham's bald head with a spider, with Charlotte coming out of his ear and an egg nest.
The next scene that we go to is the church where we actually get the mission.
Oh, yes. He tells him, I guess he goes from Bruce Willis as church. A lot of great language of sucking each other off and jerking each other off talk in the church here. That was really classy.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. And Bruce Willis as a priest, dressed up like a priest.
Yeah, as a CIA guy, or I guess some kind of guy.
So this is almost like a bidding, like a job bidding, right?
Yeah, it turns out there's a competition for the job. 2 teams of mercenaries have been contacted, and only one will get the job.
Yeah, so we get some rivalry, some gentlemanly rivalry here between Stallone and Schwarzenegger, who shows up
wearing the baggiest slacks. They look like they're on loan from a Jim Lee comic book from 1991 or something. They're insane. Like, yeah, you got to go back and watch if you have the heart, and watch when Schwarzenegger leaves this scene of how baggy his pants are.
Yeah, and then they instantly are antagonistic towards each other. Schwarzenegger's like, "Did you lose some weight?" And Stallone is like, "You look like you gained what I lost." So it's like 2 old guys giving each other shit.
Yeah, and Schwarzenegger knows more about the job, but ends up turning it down, saying it's like a suicide mission. And then he's like, let's get lunch.
In 1,000 years.
But I wanted to say for people that that Stallone and Schwarzenegger actually do get lunch quite a bit at one of Stallone's favorite restaurants. And usually if it's Schwarzenegger there with him, it'll be on Saturday around brunch hours, like a little before noon. It's called Cafe Roma in Beverly Hills. And also sometimes Mickey Rourke likes to eat there as well.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Planet Hollywood. Does that still exist?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
Maybe there's one somewhere like Planet Hollywood, Minneapolis.
Valena.
Yeah, Elena. Yeah.
Valena.
Oh, Valena. That's hilarious. Yeah. So Stallone and his boys end up getting this contract.
Who are you? Are you more of a Stallone or more of a Schwarzenegger man?
I'm more of a Schwarzenegger man.
I was really thinking about this, and I knew in my heart from the start it was Schwarzenegger. But I was thinking we should maybe look at it's like Stallone, I think, is a superior actor. He has more range, and sometimes Stallone is even even good in movies he shouldn't be in, that she shouldn't have done, maybe like Over the Top or something, or Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. If you watch these movies, his performances aren't actually too bad in them.
Ants.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. But Schwarzenegger just seemed like he made more good movies over the years, and he's so charismatic. Like I was watching Escape Plan, and they're both good in the movie, and Stallone's doing all the action, and Schwarzenegger is essentially playing a character role. It could be Jürgen Prochnow or anybody, like it could be Robert De Niro in a German accent or something, playing the part instead of Schwarzenegger, and he's immediately, you just like him. Like I liked him in the movie. Like he's so charismatic. I really root for Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, and he was a guy, like I was aware of this when I was a little kid, that he's just funny, naturally hilarious.
Yeah, and knowingly so, not just let you laugh at his silly. Just the idea of some of these movies where it's like, what's the movie not above the law? What's the one where he's an undercover police officer in the United States? What's this one? It's Schwarzenegger movie where he's like goes undercover. He's a cop who goes undercover in the mob. And
Raw Dill?
Yes, it's just ridiculous that he could be either thing.
Yeah, and in which they can make fun of that in Kindergarten Cop. Because Detective John Kimball is like the most obvious undercover cop there's ever been.
Yes.
But I would say that Schwarzenegger, what was his first comedy? Twins?
I guess Twins does probably predate Kindergarten Cop. He has more success in comedy when he's tried to do comedy than Stallone. Stallone's gone to the well more times, and it's always come up empty, I feel like. Has Stallone ever done a good comedy?
That's what I was just thinking in real time. Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Rhinestone.
What's the Oscar?
Yeah,
Oscar.
Rough.
Yeah, he just
those are some rough movies.
But I do like Stallone as well. I don't dislike
I do too.
him.
Oh yeah. I think he's a fine actor, and some of the movies he's written, directed are decent.
Well, we were trying to go through the big.
Copland.
Who were the big action dogs in the 80s? It would have been at the top of the heap: Stallone, Schwarzenegger. Lower
Chuck
would be
Norris,
Chuck. Van
Bronson.
Damme came in a little bit later.
Van Damme and Seagal would be later.
Willis came in later.
Was not as big of a dog, and then you had briefly Jeff Speakman,
Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
But they were the two. They were the two titans.
Eastwood.
Yeah, he's doing action in the 80s.
For sure. Yeah, he's still doing that. Dirty Harry movies, Heartbreak Ridge, The Rookie, bringing Tom Cruise.
Well, this is the only time we see Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I think that maybe I don't think we ever see Bruce Willis again, except for maybe in like still shots or something. They bring up on a computer later or something. Yeah. Yeah, this is the extent of Schwarzenegger's role.
Yeah, and Willis is very threatening at the end of the scene where he's like, we're going to pay you, and if you don't succeed, we're going to chop you up into doggy treats or something.
I thought Bruce Willis was better in this than he has been in a lot of movies of recent vintage.
Yeah, so I haven't seen a lot of recent Willis films.
Ooh, he's bad in things. Like, it's like he really just steals people's money sometimes. Not here. He's at least awake. He and Stallone were both fun in this scene.
He does seem pretty sedated lately.
Except for that the scene is just so bad. Like, the movie's bad.
Well, another thing I want to bring up in this scene is, does it ever really look like Schwarzenegger and Stallone are in the same scene?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do. Like, one of the main still frames of the movie is them in a shot together, like in a 2-shot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they were, but just the way it's framed, a lot of the movie feels, like you said, it's dark, but it also feels like green screen a lot.
And it also just feels like, like the whole thing is choppy. It seems like they were trying to work around maybe people's schedules of when they had to make other crappy movies, or we'll be like, all right, they'll be in your movie for 30 minutes on Friday. You got to get this done, bro.
Yeah, they definitely rushed through this church scene.
Yeah,
it probably wasn't even supposed to be in a church, and they were just like, what can we do? Let's throw a priest.
So it's Tuesday afternoon, nobody will be in church.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go in there real
probably cheap
fast
as hell to use it. So after this, we have Stallone and Statham, they're getting together and planning to go to Valena by themselves to do some reconnaissance. And this is where Lundgren shows back up and asks if he can come along on the mission that's starting to brew.
Yeah, did they get together with everybody and plan the mission at this point, or no?
It's right after this scene.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right after he basically tells Lundgren that he can't go. He's still using. And Lundgren says something. Again, I didn't get a lot of the dialogue, but Stallone's response was, "Is that a threat?" And Lundgren says something to the effect of, "No, I'm a nice guy," and he walks off. So there's
and how does Lundgren know so much about the mission? Like, he shows up and he's like, "Are you going to Valena?" And You're like, what? Meth
Well,
guy's
that's kind of
really clued
revealed
in.
a little
Oh,
bit
okay.
down the line, right?
I don't know. Is it like it's like he shows up later on, with the bad guys, but it's like, would he have known that now?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's been hanging out with Mickey
So
Rourke.
or with Schwarzenegger, like Stallone didn't even know where Valena was.
That would have been a good scene of Lundgren and Schwarzenegger hanging out.
Oh yeah, would have been easy to understand, of course.
Yeah, definitely. So this is the scene you were talking about afterwards, is where all the boys show back up at Tools and they're discussing this mission. You get some funny Jet Li complaining about the pay that he's got to send his son to school.
Yeah, Jet Li repeatedly in this movie says he needs more money, but he's the only one that loses fights. So should he actually have made less money? But then in the end credits, I saw that Jet Li had a fight team, so so there were 4 guys for the Jet Li scene. So maybe he did need more money to pay his extra 3 guys he brings.
His stunt guys? Is that what you're talking about?
He has a choreographer and 2 other guys who probably play guys. I would imagine this fight team is like the other 2 guys are probably there to fight against him in those scenes because they don't have to hire just random actors to be able to do the martial arts against him.
Well, his size, they bring up his size a lot, and it made me think of Ocean's 11, and they have a little Asian guy in that movie, little acrobatic guy that they use, and I was thinking, Stallone definitely was like, let's do like Magnificent Seven, Ocean's 11. I think that was his idea for sure, but he didn't put much imagination into it.
No, this is like a crap version of Predator.
So this scene here, when the guys are all discussing the mission, is where Couture brings up his cauliflower ears, and it's a pretty wild. He's got a pretty wild moment here. Do you remember the story?
It ain't easy being green.
This is probably
how he wrestled a bit in college.
Yeah, I could understand this scene pretty good.
And he goes to therapy. Yeah, Randy Couture is the most. Randy Couture and Terry Crews are the most easy to understand characters in the film. I guess Bruce Willis as well. And Roberts.
So I wrestled when I was in junior high and high school, and the wrestling.
Did you ever get any cauliflower ear?
Well, we wore headgear, and the coach. You had to. It was mandatory, but the coach.
I heard that the other guys didn't, and you requested it.
Well, we can talk about that off mic.
I made that up.
The coach that I had in junior high had horrible cauliflower ear. I mean, it's going to be horrible no matter what, I guess, right? His ears looked like Couture's, and so.
Yeah, I see a lot of guys with cauliflower. It's pretty common for people that get this, and it's not. It's weird that he needed therapy for the cauliflower ear. That's what I found so wild. I was like, it just seems like it's pretty common for wrestlers, and you just tell people, "Hey, I was a wrestler." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
There was, what I was going to say, like in the practice room at when I was wrestling, you would get a little bit lazy if you're sparring with somebody or practicing moves, and maybe you wouldn't wear your headgear that much, but the coach would come in and be like, you got to wear the head. Look at me. Look what happened to me. So he was always pointing out his.
So maybe it does really. Maybe I, as a person without cauliflower ear, don't see it as that big of a deal because you just assume the person did fighting. But maybe people with cauliflower ear, it really does affect their psyche.
It's pretty crazy looking.
Yeah, I just feel like it's such an easily explainable
condition.
Condition. It's like it's a condition that it has. Like everybody already knows how you got it.
Yeah, how'd you get that? I used to fight. I used to wrestle.
Like doy. Yeah. You don't even have to ask.
You should call the condition doy ears.
Doy.
So, recently, I've been listening to this Adam Sandler live album. He had a show a couple of years ago. It was on Netflix, and it's mostly him doing music. I don't know if you saw that one.
I watched it.
A lot of songs. I mean, the album version of it has like 30 or 40 songs or something like that. There's so many songs, but there's a song called UFC Ear. That's pretty funny. It's like Sandler being like, I am scared of the UFC ear. Something about a guy that has those cauliflower ears. Spooky stuff. So after this, we go to Valena, where Barney, which is Stallone's character, and Christmas go to scout the island. And Willis tells them that they're going to meet a contact there. So they're looking for the contact, and it's this beautiful, it's meant to be a beautiful Hispanic woman.
Yeah, she could have been a little hotter. Giselle Etier.
Yeah, I
didn't recognize her there. Etier.
We find out that she's the general's daughter. I don't know if that's immediately discovered. I think it takes a minute before that's revealed.
Yeah, and some of the interplay between them and things that happen to her in the movie and how like easily they go into be reconciling later is hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty sloppy. I know that.
It's real sloppy.
See, she's driving driving them around, and at some point when they're scouting
she and
around,
Stallone started flirtation.
yeah.
At
Did
first, you
feel
think she
any
might be like,
chemistry?
not really. At first, I felt like maybe she was going to be the replacement for Lacey in Statham's life, because Stallone kept telling him Lacey wasn't for him or something. And then, but yeah, like, no, I didn't really feel much chemistry between them. Did you?
No. Yeah, I thought it was going to be Statham because, yeah, like you said, there's when Stallone and Statham are flying over to Valena, they're having a conversation in the cockpit about the girlfriend situation.
I was a little refreshed that it was Stallone instead, because it's like, oh, at least something I didn't expect happened in this movie.
Yeah, it was weird. They're scouting about and they run into some soldiers who recognize her. This is probably where they reveal that she's the general's daughter.
I think it might even be later, but maybe not. Maybe they do. I don't know. You might be right.
And the soldiers definitely like get rough with her and grab. I think, yeah, it's definitely the scene because one of the guys is like, we're going to take you to your father. And like, I think they just grab her arm and kind of yank on her. Obviously, they're not going to like beat up their general's daughter, but they're rough with
Is
her.
it obvious the scene before we see later?
But it's rough enough to where like instantly Stallone overreacts and they just like end up killing all those guys insanely, like breaking their legs, throwing knives into them, shooting them up. Stallone saves Statham's life. Like, remember the guy that pops up on the other side of the car through the car door?
Yeah.
And Stallone shoots like right past Statham into the guy and kills him. I guess they have to hightail it out of there. This might have been after. There's a scene where they're taking photographs. Remember? This is where they probably first run into the soldiers.
Yeah. And Statham goes off on his own and leaves Stallone and her together. And Statham kind of doubles back and helps them out.
When they're taking pictures of the soldiers in the street, they're like harassing the peasants, harassing the people of Valena. That's when we see Roberts and Steve Austin come out, and Stallone tells Statham with the camera, he's like, get the suit, put it on the suit. And so you get these like, the camera POV shot of, so that's their first encounter with Eric Roberts as the bad guy, who they had no idea about, right? Like Willis never mentions him. So this is a surprise to them.
One thing I liked about the Rambo movies was in First Blood, the villain was Brian Dennehy. And in First Blood Part 2, the villain was a guy who looked like Brian Dennehy. Charles Napier.
Oh, yeah. Let me look up a picture of Charles Napier. Oh, indeed.
He was the voice of the boss on The Critic. He was the cop and the cable guy.
Yeah, Charles Napier's classic. He was in a bunch of, he was in some Jonathan Demme movies.
Saw him briefly in The Grifters last night. I was watching The Grifters.
What's the dude's name that made Joe Dante? Wasn't he in a bunch of Joe Dante movies?
Maybe.
Feels right. Yeah, that guy has such a funny look. I love that guy.
Yeah, great look, great voice. Good actor.
Oh, yeah.
Passed away a few years ago.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Rest in peace, Mr. Napier. Where were we? Oh, yeah. They discover Eric Roberts in Valena.
This isn't yet where they do the thing where they fly over that pier. That's probably way later.
That's around here somewhere.
Okay.
I would say after they get into the scuffle with the soldiers, that's when they realize they have to leave the island.
This is the best part of the movie to me. In fact, I was so checked out on the movie, I didn't even notice this the first time I watched the movie twice. And the second time I was like, oh yeah, that's actually pretty cool. And it was only the only thing I liked in the movie, really.
Yeah, they have to abort their mission when they get into it with these soldiers, and they take off and they're trying to make it back to their airplane.
Yeah, and there are a bunch of soldiers on a pier. Yeah. Oh no, wait, I guess they're already on the airplane. Never mind. We're not when they do this. But.
Well, they're like fighting. They're having a shootout as they're trying to get to the plane, and then Stallone is like hanging off the side of the plane and gets in as Statham is flying. And you think they're going to leave, and then but they come back around.
Yeah, and Stallone's flying the plane now, and like they do a thing where like Statham like drops a bunch of gasoline all over this pier.
Yeah,
or something. Then they shoot the gasoline or something, just blow this whole pier to hell. That was kind of cool.
You get some good Eric Roberts acting of him like running and diving off of the pier as it explodes behind him.
Yeah, I hope there were no civilians left on that pier. No collateral damage.
Oh man, that's good stuff. So even though they have blown their cover and they've made like horrible enemies, Stallone can't stop thinking about this woman that they met, daughter of the general's daughter.
Oh, also, like Stallone, like one thing they have is like that Mickey Rourke has given him that tattoo of the raven, and Statham makes fun of the raven not looking good.
Yeah, it looks like a chicken.
Yeah, but it looks fine, really. But wouldn't it be a cooler movie if Mickey Rourke sucked at giving tattoos, but they go to him anyway because it's the cover for getting their mission? missions.
Yeah.
They all have these shitty tattoos.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it would have been then I realized that would have been an idea that was funny or fresh, and that was really not part of this movie's objectives at all.
No. Well, okay, talking about the objective and whatnot, when this first came out, I wasn't paying that close attention to it. And I had the idea that it was way more of a kind of postmodern-y, like I thought it was more of a smirking.
Yeah,
that's
why I never wanted to see the movie is because,
me too.
Like I knew that because I thought, well, it's clearly not going to be good. And it's like, if you're not doing it as a comedy, then what is the point except for to just steal people's money?
So when you watched it, it was what I more
expected.
Serious?
No, maybe it was slightly more serious even than I thought it was going to be more jokey than it was, but I knew it wasn't going to be full on. Like me, is like either you do the movie as hot shots or it's going to be a scam at this point with these actors. And so if it had been straight up Hot Shots Part 2 or Hot Shots, I would have watched it before this. But it wasn't even as jokey as I thought it would be. No, it's pretty dry. I mean, it has your more normal action movie quips, but not as good.
But I thought there would be much more levity. Something about the poster and I probably had seen commercials on TV. Something was very misleading to me where I was like, this feels like maybe not quite Hot Shotsy, maybe more something on par with like The Last Action Hero, but not PG-13. I don't know. I was surprised by the tone. Definitely more serious than I expected, for sure.
Yeah, it was slightly maybe less jokey than I thought, but it was pretty much like I thought it was going to be.
I thought it was going to be better somehow, like better looking, I think.
Oh,
it's kind of low rent.
It is, and it's not so much that it has like it looks. Yeah, it's pretty crappy, surprisingly crappy.
After this scene where they blow up the pier and they get out of there on the airplane is when Lundgren shows up in Vilena and approaches the general and Eric Roberts about helping them because they want these guys now. They want revenge. And so Lundgren starts his campaign back in America to kill all these guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's his contract.
That's right. Yeah, he's supposed to.
He knows where they are. He's a double agent.
I don't know if he can really be a double agent since he's been kicked out.
He's more of just a.
He's on the other side now.
Turncoat.
Yeah, he's a turncoat.
Statham goes and visits his lady again and finds that she has a bruise on her face.
Yeah, I wonder how she got that.
Yeah, he doesn't like that. But she takes him to the guy. She jumps on his motorbike and they drive to an outdoor basketball court.
Yeah, this was really a missed opportunity for some quips here. A technical foul, flagrant foul kind of joke. Nothing like that.
Yeah. I bet you were looking forward to some basketball humor.
I was. To people who are fans of the show that don't know this, I love basketball.
It would have even been good to hear Statham be like, white men can't jump.
In fact, one of the greatest things this summer was in Hollywood, during the lockdown, you couldn't play basketball at the park, not because the park was closed, but because they made these like locks that go on top of the rims of the baskets.
Yes,
so
I've seen those.
And the days like maybe like the day after they took them off, I went to the park and I was playing basketball with like all of these teenage kids and a couple other old dudes. And I may have been the only white person there. And heaven really is a playground. Just seeing all these people so happy to be able to play outside together and nobody like getting on each other, everybody supporting each other. Like there were people of all different athletic abilities and people like really overweight people. And I was certainly not in good shape that day. And oh my goodness, this is a sport. Everybody just having so much fun. And it was beautiful, man. And it still is. Like I love playing basketball.
You should write a song about that.
Yeah, write a movie called
The Day the Locks Came Off.
Yeah,
the goals.
Yeah, Hollywood, man. And yeah, it was gorgeous. Like I remember like a couple of minutes in, I was really, really huffing and puffing with my heart pounding. I was like, if I have a heart attack and die right now, there could be worse ways to go out. So I think this might be a pretty nice one.
Where were we in this masterful plot? Remember, there's some waterboarding that happens.
Oh, this is the best. This is what I was talking about. It's like they get the general's daughter and they waterboard her. And at first it's like, you think Roberts
they
might beat her.
waterboard the hell out of her.
Yeah, you think Roberts might beat her. And I was like, man, and he says that he won't hit a woman, but Stone Cold Steve Austin will. And I was thinking, man, if he would have hit her, that would have definitely been the background art for this episode.
Yeah, when did the Guantanamo stuff happen? It would have been
2004, 2003, somewhere in 2005, maybe. Somewhere in the
second term of W.
Maybe maybe.
So it's the waterboarding was all the rage. It was kind of the
Mhm.
I'd never even heard of it until 2000s.
Yeah, this would have been post. What's that movie? Oh gosh, the one where they kill Osama bin Laden.
Oh, Zero Dark 30. Did they
this is after-
waterboard
I
in
think-
that?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Nice. I want to watch it now.
You never seen Zero Dark 30?
No, never saw that. Never
It
saw
has
the
its-
Hurt Locker.
It has its moments. I like Jason Clarke as the waterboarding dude. I like Jason Clarke. He's an actor I enjoy. Not in this movie.
You ever been waterboarded?
No. I boogie boarded, but
It looks horrible.
yeah.
But
So like
what's
General
funny?
Garza just consents to his daughter being terribly tortured.
Yeah, you know what's hilarious about waterboarding is just how easy it is to do.
Yes.
All you need is a towel or a rag and a pitcher and some water, and then someone to hold someone else down or strap them down or whatever. It's easy.
Yeah. You need maybe two people or some restraints too. You get into the money.
Man, yeah. So the general consents to it. Is that what you said?
Yeah. So crazy. Like it's like
Yes, I will allow it.
Yeah,
She won't die. That's messed up.
Yes.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, spoiler, not too long out, like later on in the movie, they have a reconciliation. Like, do you not remember that he allowed you to be waterboarded not that long ago in the movie? In addition to ruining your whole country.
Damn, that's savage.
I guess part of the plan of the Roberts is to do he's trying to grow a bunch of cocaine and it's not growing fast enough, right? That's a funny scene.
Oh, yeah.
You know the cycle of a coca crop? Of course you don't. It's like, why wouldn't he? Isn't he the native?
Behind.
There's also a funny part where like they're showing the stills of people like to the crew like at the mission, and they show a bunch of stills of Eric Roberts up close, like with like laser sights on him and stuff. And it's like, well, didn't they already know who he was? Like, it's like, do they really need at this point to do this to show him to the guys? I don't think so. He's already been identified.
Yeah, that's pretty. There's some
weird.
strange choices at play here. Also, in this section of the film is the scene where Stallone is hanging out Rourke again. This is where you Stallone asks Rourke about the lady friend.
This is your favorit scene, probably. Yeah.
Like, what happened to the lady, the lady friend that you had with you? And she's long gone, brother. Something like that. But man, they get to talking about Bosnia, some mission in Bosnia.
Yes.
And Rourke letting a woman die.
Just before we do this, I need to pee really fast. Just give me just 1 second. So.
Okay. Mississippi Queen, you know what I mean. Mississippi Queen, she taught me everything. Went down around Vicksburg, Louisiana way.
All right.
Welcome back, Roy. I'm going to read this. I found the monologue. You had your moment in the spotlight reading from Inherent Vice in the last episode. I think I want to read this.
Wait, did you say that Terry Crews's name was Hail Caesar spelled Hell or Hale?
Hale.
Yeah, it was Hale. I misheard you or didn't listen closely enough. Yeah, it was freaking weird.
It's like Hail and Hardy Caesar.
Hail from Hail and Hardy, or Hail, from the sky. Whoa.
Okay, so this scene here is basically the scene that inspires Stallone to not leave that lady hanging back in Vilena, even though it's a suicide mission, right? So Rourke tells this story where he says, "You remember that time we was up at Bosnia? We took down them Serb bad boys. All our guys were getting chopped up all around us, and there was blood everywhere. I never thought I was going to make it out of there, and I know you didn't." And you didn't and what? I know you didn't and you didn't either. Kind of feeling like dead too, you know? My head's all very, very black place. Didn't believe in shit. Just goddamn Dracula Black. I'm not going to keep going, but
wait, do the whole thing about the lady.
I remember I got this bottle of this local shit they have over there, the Slivovitz. I think that's what it was called. And I ain't feeling no pain now. And I come up on this Overland Bridge and I see this woman standing there, you know, and she's, I stepped out and she saw me and she's looking right in my eyes. And I was looking right in her eyes. And I knew that what she was going to do. She looked at me and I knew she was going to jump. You know what I did, man? I just turned around and I kept walking until I heard the splash and she was gone. After taking all them lives, she was one that I could have saved, but I didn't. And what I realized later on was if I'd have saved that woman, I might have saved what was left of my soul, you know, Mickey Rourke.
Now he just looks at women as things that run in and out on him.
Yeah, if he just would have saved that woman from committing suicide, he would have treated women a lot better later in his life. Now he just looks like a woman.
No nose
Dracula
whistle
Black.
yet in this movie, though.
Oh, that's true.
Damn Dracula Black.
Goddamn Dracula Black. I like my boys hard. I like them solid. Back to the plot here. We were talking about waterboarding. We were talking about, so this is basically where Stallone decides to go back for Sandra, who was the general's daughter.
Mm-hmm. It tells Jet Li. I don't think the rest of the crew is there.
Yeah, I think Yin Yang is the only one that's going to come along at first, right?
Well, yeah, Statham and Yin Yang. I mean, I guess he tells. I don't think the whole crew is there when he tells them they're not going to do the mission. I think it's just Statham and Yin Yang in their locker room hangout of their two hangouts places.
And somehow you get Stallone and Lee together in Stallone's
not Lee
truck.
Christmas, but Jet Li.
Jet Li, excuse me.
And this is Jet Li. Yeah, he's telling him he wants in because he needs the money and he needs more money because this is where he's like, because I'm small. When we have a mission, I travel farther because you're small. Yeah.
Yes. So we have Stallone and JetBlue are in this. Stallone's character has a fancy, like it's a vintage pickup truck.
Yeah, there's a lot of vehicle porn in this movie.
Yeah, vehicle porn, perfect. And they're on the road doing something. Do you remember what they're doing? Some kind of work, and they get ambushed, and it's an ambush that's led by Lundgren, I believe.
Yeah.
And so there's all kinds of gunfire, and JetBlue jumps out into the bed of the pickup truck. And why does he do it, Roy?
I'm not sure.
Stallone is like, get out there, and he's like, why me? And he's like, because you're small. So more small. There's a lot of, they really play up his smallness in this. If I was Jet Li, I don't know how I'd feel about that. I'm a little guy. I'm a short guy, but I never really felt like anybody. I don't know. I never really thought about it too much in my life.
Yeah, you're very well adjusted. You're not like Jet Li.
Yeah, I don't have a Napoleon complex like Jet Li.
Or Randy Couture's ear thing.
Yeah.
It ain't easy being green, brother.
I did kind of dig this action sequence. It was wild. There was some.
I enjoyed that it ended up with Dolph Lundgren and Jet Li in a hand-to-hand combat, a crazy shadowy place once again in the middle of the day, so that we couldn't see what was happening.
This is so good. So the cars chase each other. Stallone leads them into a warehouse. I don't think it's Tool's shop. Maybe it's the back of it or something. It's just a big warehouse of some kind. Maybe it's their warehouse where they keep their plane, and maybe it's a hangar. I don't know. But Stallone crashes Jet Li jumps out and rolls clean of the pickup truck. That was kind of neat. And Lundgren and Stallone crash their cars. So Stallone's kind of messed up a little bit, and Lundgren climbs out and starts fighting with Jet Li. And there's some more digs made at his size. I don't remember all of them. Do you?
No.
Well, then as Jet Li is getting beat up, he notices a sign that says a height warning. And so it's platforms and stuff that are low. So Jet Li rushes towards that area where you have to crouch down if you're tall. And he draws Lundgren into it, and Lundgren keeps banging his head on shit. It's so wild. He's really using his size to his advantage here.
So all those short jokes were a setup for this amazing action sequence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the short guy action sequence in which Lundgren finally gets the upper hand.
I wonder if this was in the script, and Stallone maybe has a short guy complex or something, because he's a short man.
Yeah, how tall is Stallone?
Not very tall. In fact, one thing I noticed in the 5 Rambo films, there was never any Frank Stallone. I also thought that Frank Stallone would be funny as the voice of Rambo in the Rambo cartoon. But no Frank Stallone in any of these or in this movie. And Frank Stallone is the tall brother.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to me that Frank Stallone is tall, but Sylvester's the action star.
You said you'd seen a documentary about Frank Stallone?
Oh yeah, I think it's maybe on Amazon Prime. I'm not sure. It's called Stallone, Frank. That is. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
I can't recommend that enough. Yeah. Oh yeah, I loved it. I plan on watching it again.
I wish Mickey Rourke was in it. Or,
Cameo,
Eric Roberts.
not as a talking head, but they even bring up this old Weekend Update, rest in peace, Norm Macdonald jokes about, you guessed it, Frank Stallone. Like
Yeah, I
they even
remember
have
all
access to that footage in there.
Nice.
It's a surprisingly high budget documentary. I brought it up on the show before.
This fight ends with Lundgren almost killing Jet Li, and he has him over his head like Bane Batman style, where he's going to break his back on his knee. Doesn't it seem like that's about to happen? He's got Jet Li like raised over his head. He's going to bring him down and do something horrible to him. But
One
Stallone.
note, recently I had like a 12-hour flu, and as it was coming on, I was watching the movie Tombstone on TV, and the last thing I saw before I ran into the bathroom to start puking my guts out was the part with Frank Stallone. I'm not going to say that it was related, but
I don't even remember that he was in Tombstone.
he's the guy that gets mad at Doc Holliday for beating him in cards in the beginning. When the first time we meet Doc Holliday in the movie, before Doc Holliday and Big Nose Kate go to Tombstone, he's in a poker game and he beats a guy that gets mad at him. Why, Ed Bailey?
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now. He looks
Ed
good.
Bailey.
He looks like
He's not
convincing.
a terrible actor, honestly. Like Frank Stallone could be a worse actor.
Man, they really had the mustaches on point in Tombstone.
Apparently everyone grew their own mustache allegedly for the movie. I don't know if that's actually true, but that's a legend.
Even
Priestley? I don't know.
Does Priestley have a mustache in it?
No, probably.
Yeah, I'm looking at the mustaches here. Paxton has a pretty decent one. Rest in peace, Paxton. Anyways, what happens here is rest in peace, Lundgren, or so you think.
So
Stallone shoots him right through the chest, and he runs over to him to comfort him, but also to get some information from him.
This is a really wild scene because like I thought they were, it's wild because he's like, am I dying? And he's like, I shot you 2 inches above the heart. And so I think my first thought is, okay, well, that means he's not dying in movie terms. I might kill you in real life due to the way we learned in Three Kings that bullets work. But but I thought in this movie that definitely won't kill Dolph Lundgren. But then he says, oh yeah, so I am dying. And I was like, oh, I guess he is.
Yeah, I felt like in the scene they leave him laying there.
Oh yeah, like they straight up say he's dying. Yeah, and that it's like he's like, don't go out as a bad guy. Yeah, terrible.
Oh, it says here, yeah, that Lundgren was attempting to impale Jet Li on a pipe.
Nice.
But it is Lundgren that gets impaled by a bullet, some kind of.
I heard he impaled him in a pipe in the X-rated version.
I assumed that Lundgren died here, which is hilarious when he comes back. I laughed like a bastard.
I was so checked out on the movie. I didn't realize he came back at the end of the movie. I thought he did die. And then I read that thing about them making part 4 of the Expendables, and it said Lundgren, Jet Li to reprise roles, and Curtis 50 Cent Jackson added. And I was like, oh, so Lundgren, they're bringing him back somehow. Then I rewatched the movie. I was like, oh, they brought him back in this movie. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the movie's not over yet, so we could lose an Expendable at some point in this.
True.
And I kept holding out hope that maybe it would happen, and I was hoping that it would not be Terry Crews.
True.
So Lundgren spills his guts about General Garza and everything. I forget the key information that he tells him. That the girl's still alive and
they're still where you left them.
Yeah, what is the
key?
You
know where they are. So
this is going to be really helpful to you. Fly back exactly to where you were before.
Where your reconnaissance told you they were at. That's where they are. And,
oh my God. Maybe he learns. I think they, in this section of the movie, they do learn that Willis's character is CIA.
Yeah, and that Roberts is actual maybe CIA target too.
That's right. They want to take out Roberts's character, and they don't want to.
They think it'll be bad headlines if the CIA takes out one of its own. Yes, like there would be any headlines about that. But can you imagine?
Bad headlines.
CIA assassinates a former CIA guy and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Seems like the kind of thing they could hush up pretty easily.
So they don't make any money in this. Even if they go back, the money's off the table. They never really complete their mission, right? I don't know.
I guess they do in the end. They do.
But man, they goof it up real bad the first time when they're there.
Yeah, but weren't they just supposed to be reconning anyway?
Yeah, and they goofed it up horribly.
Yeah, I mean, they got their information. They also blew up a huge pier.
They also had the balls to go back, which is what happens next. All the boys board the airplane. You remember what's on the airplane? The text on it?
Molly Hatchet? Oh, no, I don't.
It says Global Wildlife Conservancy.
Nice. Like that's their cover. That's pretty cool.
I
That's
thought that was the
funny.
most creative part of the movie.
Maybe, yeah. I didn't even notice it. You're right. That isn't bad.
So they all board the plane, head back.
Yeah, like they pretend to be Greenpeace or something.
Yeah, they're gonna go save some cranes from an oil slick.
The oil slick of Eric Roberts and Mickey Rourke's hairs.
Find my bearings here. Give me just a second. I'm reading off of a plot off of IMDb this time. But I looked before. I looked at sometimes the synopses are horrible for the movies. This one had a nice long one. So I was like, I'm not going to write. Usually when I write my notes, I have to write down the freaking plot.
Yeah.
This time I was lazy about it. So
Don't blame you.
all the Expendables go back and they're going to infiltrate Garza's compound. But it's like, I think it's just Stallone and Lee are still the only ones that are going to do it. When they go back to where the plane is, all the dudes are in the plane already, like ready to go. Remember that?
No, but nice.
You remember that great scene? So they take off. I don't even remember, like, how do they I guess they land somewhere at night. It's all this infiltration takes place at night, of course. A bunch of explosives are planted all over the place. There's a storage area full of drugs, barrels of drugs. And this is just a big, long, sloppy, there's lots of shooting and blowing up. There's an insane section that's just like a lot of hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, we get and all of it shitty, except there's a little bit of Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Randy Couture that you're actually allowed to see in some kind of degree of focus and light.
Before that, you see Steve Austin versus Stallone, which is very poorly orchestrated.
Yes.
It's a lot of tackling and shit that happens, and they don't even get to resolve that fight. I mean, it gets interrupted by gunfire and Steve Austin's character running away.
Yeah, we get Stallone tortured like in a Rambo movie.
What happens there? So he finds the girl. Yeah, he finds the girl, and they're in some dark castle corridor, and he's trying to lead her out of that, and then they get accosted by soldiers, and he's being strangled, right?
Oh yeah, and Garza has those two bodyguards, or he has those guys with the face mask or something, but he has these two bodyguards. You know who played them? Bodyguard 1 and Bodyguard 2 of Garza.
I did recognize one of the guys. Tell us who they are.
Well, one guy was Antonio Rodrigo Noguera, and the other guy was Antonio Rodrigo Noguera. They were the same guy. Oh, no, never mind. They were twin brothers. I thought they were the same guy, but apparently they have different middle names. One guy was Antonio Rodrigo, and the other one is Antonio Rogerio.
So I recognized them because they looked exactly alike.
Yes, perhaps.
Oh, I recognize that guy from this movie that he's also in.
Yeah, he's just identical twin brother.
So I saved myself.
Yeah, that was a joke that I thought was a funny joke. Turns out I was the idiot because I thought I was
too, because I was I know that guy.
I thought it was the same guy, just in a dual role, but no, it really was twins.
I guess I was thinking more about the guy who's trying to put the cigarette out on.
The Brit.
Sandra.
The British guy, Gary Daniels.
Oh, he's a Brit.
There's a guy called the Brit, and I guess he's had a long career as an action dude in things. I didn't really look him up.
Gary Daniels is an English actor. Yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff dating back to the 90s. There's a there's a TV show called The Expendables, a Canadian home renovation television series. But back to The Expendables. Yeah, this insane like hand-to-hand scene. There was some pretty good martial arts here, but yeah, the shooting is just so bad.
We have to say, like, one of the things they could have made jokes about this movie, called it The Expendables, but everybody showed up in shape. So they really couldn't do it. I mean, you could argue they made the joke about Arnold gaining weight, but nobody else is fat in this.
Arnold doesn't even look fat to me.
No, he looks pretty good. Like, especially for his age, he looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And Stallone is like in crazy, like looks roided out almost. I don't know that he is. He might just, he's been lifting weights every friggin' day for 50 years. So it's
extra veiny, extra leathery.
Yeah, it's like he's massive. Yeah, this is one thing watching those Rambo movies, of watching his body progress. And like in the first couple, he's pretty damn fucking fit, but like he gets buffer in each one. But in the third one, he looks like he's wearing body armor made of steroids.
Does Stallone look to you like a guy who has had plastic surgery?
He has some wild fucking eyebrows.
Yeah, he definitely has some artificial eyebrows of one kind or another.
Yeah, they're weird.
I don't know. I think he's maybe had some eye work done,
Oh, maybe he's had eye wrinkles removed.
but he just always looked crazy even when he was young. So it's hard to say. He's always had kind of a weird what's that? He's always had a silly putty face. Do you remember when you were showing me, this is probably around the time of the Expendables being around for the first time, you had found this series of celebrity pictures where it was celebrities turned into vampires?
No, I now you're mentioning it, I'm kind of coming back to me, but I don't really remember it.
Yeah, I don't remember where the hell you found those, but you sent me a Stallone one and a Mel Gibson one. I'm looking at the Stallone one now. It's pretty funny for the for the listeners out there. All you need to do is Google Stallone vampire to find it, and it's pretty funny.
I might do it as we speak.
But yeah, you were into sending me those for a little bit. Not sure how you got on that kick.
Somebody probably sent me one. Oh yeah, the Stallone vampire is pretty funny. It really uses the fake eyebrows.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can look at old pictures of Stallone and his eyebrows are different. I guess they're always kind of crazy, but not as crazy. They look more normal when he's young. They're not as like pointy.
Yeah, they're extra vampire-y these days. In the final stretch of this sequence here, everybody makes it outside of the compound. The compound blows up also. That was pretty crazy. The whole thing collapses.
Oh, when it collapses, I wanted to bring up just how it was clearly CG. There was no compound. Yeah, it looked pretty bad. Didn't look quite solid.
There was no compound there, man. And then we have this crazy ass music by the lead singer of Godsmack.
Whoa.
It might even just be Godsmack, but I remember reading in my notes here that Stallone, the lead singer of Godsmack, his name is Sully.
Nice.
Sully
Sullenberger.
Is that it?
Yeah, Sully Sullenberger is the lead singer of Godsmack.
Yeah. Oh, Sully Erna.
Oh, my bad. My mistake.
He was approached by Stallone himself to write a song for the film.
Sullinger.
So the song is called Sinner's Prayer, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. But there's another song by this American hard rock band, Shinedown. So everything about this movie has this vibe, the Ed Hardy vibe, all the way down to the music.
Mm-hmm.
The retro music is one thing. The modern music is even crazier, like neo grunge sounding hilariousness. And so everything blows up. The general, Eric Roberts shoots the general and kills him. He personally takes the daughter hostage. So he spends like his last section of the movie just like lugging this screaming woman around for what feels like 20 minutes. She doesn't get much to do, sadly, old Sandra.
No.
Except to be in peril. Do you remember some more details about this action sequence?
Let's see if I got any. No. Oh yeah, I remember that at the end, the last thing is like Roberts takes the daughter, not the general. It's like
That's what I meant.
Okay, Roberts takes the daughter
Roberts
hostage,
kills the general.
and then Stallone shoots the Roberts up, murders the fuck out of him, and then a knife goes through the Roberts's back, and it's been thrown by Statham, and Statham's like, let's call it a tie, and Stallone's like, yeah, and I was like, a tie? Stallone shot him like 5 times before the knife went through him. Statham clearly lost.
He did clearly lose,
it's like he did nothing except for show up late. Statham's like, you're not as fast as you used to be, mate, and he's like, oh, I'm beginning to feel that way, or something like that.
Couture ends up tackling Steve Austin into some flaming fuel that burns him alive. That's how Steve Austin's character meets his end.
Nice.
Yeah, Steve Austin didn't really have much to do in this movie. He's he has some action to do.
Got a paycheck. I saw Julia Roberts last night in an episode of Crime Story.
Nice.
Yeah, she was like playing a teenager who had been getting molested by her adopted father.
What was Julia doing in 2010? Live, Laugh, Lovin'?
Oh yeah,
Eat, Pray, Love. Yes, Eat, Pray, Love came out in 2010, wow. Which I can't even say was a hit. I don't know.
Maybe it was.
Javier Bardem was in it.
Whoa, I like him.
Let's just have a look here at Eat, Pray, Love here. And okay, here's some interesting stuff about Eat, Pray, Love. It came out on the same day as The Expendables, which is
wow, head to head. Which one did better box office that day? I wonder.
Let's compare. So Eat, Pray, Love, budget was $60 million. Total box office, $204 million.
Wow. Oh, worldwide, it was still pretty good.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the opening. Okay. The film debuted at number 2 behind The Expendables.
Wow.
Yeah. So The Expendables was number 1 the first week. The Expendables, $80 to $82 million budget, wow, $274 million box office. So
very
comparable.
similar, very, very comparable. Yeah.
Nice. Julia and Eric head to head. Wonder how many times that's happened in their careers.
I would guess any week Julia Roberts has ever released a movie, Eric Roberts has probably released one too.
Oh man, I set you up perfectly for that. Nice. I took the lock right off of the basketball goal. So Roberts is dead. Sandra is saved. I guess Velena is better off. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Probably worse.
it's one of the greatest vacation spots you can find.
Yeah, I wonder how the locals are doing now. They're probably like, "Why did you kill? You should not have killed our general. Things were better." Stallone asks
Now
her
their
to
coca
go.
crop is 10 months behind.
Yeah. Stallone asks her to go with him, and she says, like, I'm going to stay back and help rebuild or something.
Oh, okay. So maybe she's the new general.
Yeah. Sandra's the new general. I wonder if Sandra makes it into the sequels.
A good question. I don't know.
Because he says,
I do not intend on finding out.
Stallone says something like, I'll be back around. So you have a feeling like maybe he'll be back around. But there's no kiss or anything like that. They don't even hug or anything. You would think that after all that, he would at least get a little smooch, you know? Kind of bullshit.
True.
I mean, he saved her from having a cigarette being put out on her face.
Did you see the cinematography was by Jeffrey Kimball?
Nice. Detective Jeffrey Kimball. Let's get to the movie wraps up pretty fast. They get out of there.
They go back to Tools or something, right?
Yeah, they're hanging out back at Tools, all the boys and their.
Well, it's kind of cool. You know who, like I said, you know who does come back for sequels, I think, is Lacey. Christmas's ex, I think, does come back in sequels, I think.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
What's the actress's name?
Charity Hope,
Charisma
Carpenter.
Yeah. I want
Void.
to backtrack just a little bit because there's a hilarious Terry Crews thing where he throws like an insanely heavy missile.
Oh yeah, that Stallone says he is too heavy for him to throw.
And Crews is like, "What do you want me to do with it?" And he's like, "Throw it as hard as you can." And he chucks it towards a helicopter that's running. It's probably the escape helicopter for Roberts because he's still alive at this point in the movie.
And then what's his face? Stallone shoots the missile or can of gas or something.
Yeah, he shoots the missile with he unloads his pistol till he hits it, right?
Oh.
And then it blows up the helicopter and the helicopter blades barely miss them as they jump away from the explosion. That was kind of neat. It was pretty neat. Terry Crews also had like a crazy ass automatic shotgun that was loud as hell.
Oh yes, that was like when he was blowing away with that gun was kind of cool.
That was when he says the Christmas joke that confused me.
Oh yeah, that wasn't about Christmas. Yeah.
Like, remember me when Christmas comes around or something like that. So the team are celebrating. This is at the very end of the film, celebrating back at Tool's tattoo parlor / Ed Hardy hangout shop. And this is where old Dolph Lundgren comes back to life.
And he's going to rejoin the team because he's gotten clean now.
Yeah, we had no choice. He was almost died.
And Jet
Couldn't
Li's
find meth
I
in the
would have
hospital.
win fight.
He says that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's all
And
bandaged
Dolph's like,
up.
sure you would, or of course, or something like that.
So Statham recites some kind of thing.
Where the last line of the poem is going to be "fool" like way early, and the poem just keeps going on and on and on. Like,
Yeah,
get
he's
to the
rhyming
fool
tool
line,
with
you
fool,
jag
right?
off. Yeah. He's going to rhyme tool with fool, and you're just so far ahead of it.
He chucks his throwing knife and it hits the dead center on the dartboard.
I don't think you see it hit. That's the way they cut. They cut to the credits when it hits.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you see it. Maybe you see it
you
hit
just
from
hear
the
the
point
sound.
Maybe you see it hit from the point of view of the dartboard.
Something. You hear like a thud, like a stunk, and then
they've all been throwing knives.
some more Sully Sullenberger music. I'm just not realizing that. This is how slow I am. I forgot that was the name of that pilot.
Oh yeah,
I was like, that is the lead singer of Godsmack's name.
Well, he does more than one thing.
Well,
He's
that
a
was the
hero.
Expendables. Would you watch more Expendables films? We know that Roberts isn't coming back.
Okay, then no. Unless I had a reason unless I was co-hosting a podcast about somebody in the Expendables movies, you'd be hard pressed to get me to watch one. Would you?
I'm kind of curious about two, only because in my esoteric researching there, I read a bunch of stuff saying that part 2 is way better. was
Oh,
much better received.
interesting. Well, then maybe.
There was a funny blurb about the first one that I saved, I think from the New York Times, that called the first Expendables movie breathtakingly sleazy in its lack of imagination.
I would say yes. That is fair. Even like I was like thinking that Roberts wasn't bad in the movie. Then I watched Escape Plan. I was like, man, Jim Caviezel kind of has the Eric Roberts role in Escape Plan, and just that movie's so much more fun, and Jim Caviezel's so much more fun.
Yeah,
but it's not
I'd
really
like to-
Roberts' fault. Roberts is given the performance the movie wants.
Once in a blue moon, I get a hankering for just a good action flick, and I'm way, way behind on action flicks.
Check out Escape Plan. It's not great, but man, it looks like Citizen Kane compared to the Expendables.
Does it? So who's the star of it?
Stallone, and then Schwarzenegger's the second lead.
Yeah. So a
Then,
bit of a geezer teaser.
It's not a geezer teaser because it's not lame. It's like they've actually tried. It's like the movie. It's not great, but it's like they've tried to make a good movie. It's directed by Mikhail Hofstrom, and it has Curtis Jackson is in it in a small role, but it has Vincent D'Onofrio. It has Jim Caviezel as Vinnie Jones. No, actually, Escape Plan's actually trying to be a good movie. It's not a great. It doesn't totally work. But I liked it. I had a fun time. I found it entertaining. Yeah, I think for geezer teaser, you got to be on this like lower level. Like this is more of a geezer teaser, except it really does have a ton of action in it.
Yeah, it teases good.
Yeah, the Escape Plan is actually a real movie.
This is a film that it's trying to go for like iconic badassery and just never quite gets there.
No.
I think they everyone was very lazy in this movie, except Terry Crews. Now let's talk about Hell Caesar for a minute. Because I'm reading here that the role of Hell Caesar was initially conceived as a role for Wesley Snipes.
I was just going to say, was it Wesley Snipes?
Yeah, who was in Demolition Man.
Yeah.
Snipe turned down the role because of tax issues. It was later rewritten for Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, wow. Which makes no sense. He's not really an action guy. He's more just an actor.
What if they just wrote it says it was rewritten for him? What if they just wrote it as like a Ghost Dog Samurai guy?
Oh, yeah. I guess he was in Ghost Dog. That's like his one action movie.
Due to a scheduling conflict prior to filming, Whitaker was replaced by 50 Cent before the part of Hell Caesar finally went to Terry Crews. Now, I didn't realize Terry Crews was an NFL player. Who did he play for?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think he would maybe. I mean, it seems like everybody that ends up in the movies played for the Dolphins. I don't know. I remember knowing that he was a player. I don't remember seeing him play.
Have you ever seen White Girls?
No.
Your favorite, the Wayans brothers?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it. Looks scary.
Terry Crews is so good in that.
He's a good actor. Like I like Friday After Next. He's in that one, I think. And I liked him in, of course, in Idiocracy.
He's a great comedic actor.
Yeah, it's like, that was one of the things I was going to say. I wish Terry Christmas had more to do in this movie, except for it would have been on the same level as all the other bullshit in this movie. Yeah, Terry Christmas.
Terry Christmas.
Yeah, I want to wish you a Terry Christmas.
Was Terry Crews was he in a Rob Schneider movie? One of those Rob Schneider comedies?
Maybe
I'm just thinking of White Girls.
Yeah, maybe I should see White Girls. Yeah, I do like Terry Crews.
Yeah, a lot of people were offered the role of James Monroe before they landed on specialist co-star Eric Roberts.
Yeah, but it was Mel Gibson in this running.
Maybe so, but it says here De Niro, Pacino, Ben Kingsley, and Ray Liotta were all
turned it down. Wow.
Yeah.
I could definitely see a world where De Niro or Liotta accepts that role.
We didn't do much Robertsing in this episode, but what would you say about his performance?
I'd say it was fine. Like I said, it wasn't particularly inspired, but it was good enough for this movie.
It was serviceable. I wish that he would have had more. I wish that Roberts would have had something as insanely memorable as the Dracula Black monologue.
Oh yeah, it's another failure of the movie. It's like they don't tailor the part at all to Eric Roberts. It's not a role for Eric Roberts. It is a role just anybody could have played.
Mm-hmm.
There should have been something for him to like emote crazily. He does yell a lot, but anybody that's kind of just what they wrote that's just the part. But yeah, there isn't really a part for him to like cry or do something Robertsy, feel slighted.
That's all I got. I wish Lundgren would have died. I wish that someone would have died.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I didn't expect anyone to. I was surprised when I thought Lundgren died. I was like, whoa, they killed him off.
Dude, I expected, I'm not lying, I kind of thought everyone was going to die in it. Except for Stallone, because I never even looked at to see who was in the second Expendables, and I thought maybe it's all about new teams and stuff. So
Yeah, I'd say the
maybe
most
it's like a
shocking thing was
suicide mission.
I really thought Schwarzenegger was going to be in more of the movie.
Yeah, me too. When he didn't come back, I thought maybe Willis.
I knew
would
he
be
wasn't
back.
one of them. Yeah, me too. I knew he wasn't one of the team, but like when he was only in that like one little part, I was like, whoa, I really thought he was going to be at least a longer scene, even if he was only one scene. It's like literally they could have filmed all that stuff like once they got the makeup on him in 15, 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, yeah. I would say anybody who likes this
Probably not
type of
literally the way we know movies were.
Ronin. I was thinking about Ronin a lot when I was watching this because I love that movie.
Oh,
I
me
know
too.
you do.
Oh yeah.
And it's a vastly superior kind of
Team action movie.
ghost written by David Mamet, right?
Or just written by him under a fake name due to contractual issues, I believe.
Oh, okay. Do you remember the name of his pseudonym?
Richard Weiss.
Has he done?
Because
anything?
he has I don't know that he's done any other movies as Richard Weiss, but he has a book called Bambi God versus Godzilla on the nature and practices of Hollywood or the cinema or something like that. It's a book about adventures in movie making. And each chapter starts with a quote by someone. And one of the chapters starts with a quote by Richard Weiss.
Oh, I've read the book, but I don't remember that. That must have flown past. The only other thing I'll say for as far as housekeeping is my friend Charles streamed Saved by the Light earlier this week with an audience, and it killed. It was very well received. So
I sure wish some of those people would listen to our episode about it.
Yeah, I tried to do some advertising, direct them towards this, but I'm glad that Saved by the Light is being seen and enjoyed by other people.
That was a
than
movie
us.
I enjoyed it much more than this movie.
Yeah, well, we'll be back eventually with more Roberts.
Puffy and disturbing UFC interesting. UFC ears, that's right, UFC ears. Cries himself to sleep, he's got UFC ears.